Alrighty, hello every folks, and good morning. Welcome to a bit of a run that I've been looking forward to for a while. Now, I don't know how long I'm gonna have to actually dedicate to this particular one. I just figured I'd kind of throw this out here as a little bit of a pilot light episode, I guess you could say. But Kingsvein is one of my favorite things from 2024. Just kind of one of my favorite SRPGs in general because the concept is just so dang cool. Kind of like a Metroidvania SRPG that more or less has full interaction between all your combat skills and overworld skills and whatever else. All of it just ties into each other beautifully. Now, that being said, this is technically like the third time that I'm actually starting this thing, due to a couple of test runs going completely awry and not being happy with how I actually started the thing. And additionally, the kind of wonderful situation that happened, let's say, with this one right here, in which it turns out that the ruin mode that I intended to do this on originally was about as exactly impossible as expected, where one of the first enemies that we run into can actually just one-shot the entire party, and additionally, we simply cannot actually hurt the guy. So, for example, 27 health. If we were to run up and attack the guy, we would do 1. If we put down, let's say, some fire, we would do 2. However, the AI is relatively smart and will usually wait for the fire to die down unless you prevent him from going in there. So let's say we put a bunch of fires all over the place everywhere else to convince him to run through a wall of, kind of a narrow opening through a wall of spikes that we set up along this alleyway, in order to go convince him to approach, and even then, despite like 30 plus attempts, he was just not dying. Now that is one of the easiest fights in the game. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to set the sort of difficulty to default here, and we're just going to go ahead and try it with that first. If it somehow gets too easy, then we'll go another way. But lanterns are not even intended as a weapon, so let's go ahead and get this thing going. So first and foremost, we need a solid name, and as we already saw, it has to be Pyroclasmo. As far as his design goes, let's see, headband, we probably want some pretty legit looking armor on this guy. I think we'll try to make him look like Dart. Why not? What do we got here for our different options? Maybe something like this. Let's see, probably go for maybe some, maybe like red and black, I think. So red cape, black armor maybe. Let's see, what kind of looks like a real fire starter here? Do we have an orange cape? Like an orange cape. Yeah, there we go. That looks pretty good. That looks like a Pyroclasmo. Now, we have a couple of extra classes that are available at the very start. I'll explain what these stats do later, but most of the actually all of the Rad Codex games are not really level-based. It's something more similar to a kind of more freeform version of like a Final Fantasy X, or like a, if you've ever played Salt and Sanctuary, where you are individually getting points towards particular things that you can invest in. However, those points are further subdivided based on the classes that you happen to be using at any given time. So like let's say a knight at the very start would be good at using a wide variety of different weapons and boosting their health, and would be able to, let's say, put points into being able to heal themselves more when they're healed by something. Whereas like, let's say something that's a bit more scouty might be able to put points into being able to dodge better, or somebody more magical might be able to, let's say, improve their ability with anything fire related like a lantern. So anyways, we'll get into that, but at the very start we're going to be going here for Dark Augur. So this one says that whenever your MP is above 10, damage reduces MP instead of HP. So it's basically you have a MP shield that applies if you have a certain amount of MP, which we are not really going to be using for much anyway. We will be using skills for the purpose of solving overworld puzzles and stuff, and as long as they don't directly do damage, they're fair game. So like, let's say going and shoulder checking something off of a cliff is perfectly fine, but let's say going and drowning something in a lake is not, because we can't guarantee that there isn't a torch at the bottom of that cliff, but clearly that lake is made of water. Well, goo in this case, but more on that and all of the cool world design, whatever else, in a little bit. But we've got Fire Truck, our Wyvern. That's going to be over here, and then we're going to have Roasty and Toasty. There we go, and Toasty. Alright, so fire truck. We need a skin that looks like a fire truck. For the class on our mount, we're going to go winged. I don't know if this will necessarily help us very much. They can jump over enemies, and they have small wings that can potentially jump over things. I don't actually know what that affects. That's actually kind of a cool looking dragon right there. So might go purple blue. Do they have a more reddish? Ooh. Then again, that charger just looks way cooler. Uh. Mm. Mm. Alright, we're going to have to go Wingling, I think. That's a bit more red. Maybe we'll go for that. He's like an old dusty fire truck. Why not? Alright, let's see. Actually, we'll go for different types of stone here. So, all of your main characters here are going to be what are known as die-cast. So all of the Rod Codex games have a wide variety of weird races. Like, when we were doing the Horizon's Gate thing, the main character that I was using had no eyeballs and basically just wears a mask on his face, and so they end up dodging better from the sides because they don't have directional facing. In this case, we're the die-cast, so they're kind of humanoid people that also meld with a certain type of nearby stone in order to become part of them. So like their eyes, I think, are actually like literally just like shiny bits, like shiny metal plates, is at least how I'm reading it. But in this case, let's see, we've got a few different options for stone at the very start. So Junkstone is probably going to be the most useful, because it gives us the most access to skills. So Junkstone is half-stone man melded with mediocre Junkstone, the most common diecast, no strengths, but humility aids in learning. And that 20% experience is generally agreed upon as the best bonus at the start. So we'll just go ahead and try to make this one look relatively smart. Maybe, there we go, give him some sideburns or something. He needs to look a little bit like charcoal. He's got a bit of an orange jumpsuit going on. I'm kind of liking the Ghostbusters vibe of this particular outfit, so I think we'll go with that, because that is more or less the job that we're doing here. Now, with these different types of metals, you actually will work with these. Like, you can throw junk stones at stuff, you can make equipment out of Corprist, you can get Volskarn ingots to make very augmentable equipment, Shriverrock, I forget what exactly that is, and then Sigil Scarred is just kind of their own thing. Interesting thing on lanterns. They don't technically count as a physical attack. It's just you applying fire to an area in the most basic sense, and it also lights up the area around you. So this means, for example, this one over here that's able to gain strength and gain magic strength. Think gaining like Brave and Faith or physical attack and magic attack up in Final Fantasy Tactics. That's basically what it is. Anyway. As cool as that design is, with them flashing and just having cool LEDs, maybe I kind of just want to... You know what, actually, this bonus gives us absolutely nothing. This generally makes us worse at absolutely everything, but can we make one that actually looks like he's on fire all the time is the question. Because if we can, then I kind of want to go for it. Because then they are basically a living torch at that point. Let's see, go ahead and give you one of those as well. I mean... Yeah, you know what, it's directly worse than I was planning, because one of the classes gives you additional jump, and that might be useful for something, but also they look like they're a living torch, so that'll be very appropriate for this. Okay, so we use the skip intro function, which means that we're missing some context on the story here. So what we're doing here is that this little kingdom that we're in right now, it has just dropped off the face of the earth. They just sort of lost all contact with everybody around them. And suddenly nobody's responding to much of anything. So they've just gone completely dark, and so you're sent in because it's believed that wisps are involved. So wisps are like little ghosts that essentially will live inside things that are almost dead. So this means that they can just go possess something, and hey, they are now that something. So this kind of makes them almost sort of like kind of half zombie, half ghost, right? Now, the thing is, this place just went completely dark, so they just sort of send you in to investigate and solve the problem by any means necessary. In other words, we are kind of sort of doing a Vagrant story here. You're sent in on your own, and Mr. Zavgard, I think, I don't actually know for sure, but Zavgard over here, they're going to be the one that ends up showing up with your two buddy characters. So that's going to be whatever you build your two starters as. And they show up to serve as your assistants. Otherwise, you're going around on your mount, because this cool dinosaur is more or less your means of getting around and your trusted buddy. We'll get into more on the mechanics of that particular mount later, but what you need to know is that they are absolutely the best, and also this entire thing is their backpack. This game would be literally impossible without them. Anyway, We'll just go ahead and clean up our home base a little bit. There is amazing music in this game. However, we will be getting to that as we get to it. I'm currently collecting a few rocks in order to be able to throw at stuff in case we need to throw rocks at stuff. Technically, they do damage, but if we need to interact with something, like break something at a distance with a stone, I'm going to count that as fair game in case it's something that we need to do. Additionally, I'm just kind of looting some healing items and stuff like that from the starting area, and we'll be going to Mr. Byron. He's our starting merchant man. Think of him as the RE4 merchant. He just sort of shows up with additional goodies that he found in our little watchtower here. So all of these would be useful pieces of equipment that we can't afford yet. Now, a lot of RE4 logic can be applied to this place. As far as how it kind of works overall and the vibes in general. See, this place is called the Graven. So this is essentially a world that is kind of just its own living ecosystem. The entire sort of parallel dimension that this place takes place in, or whatever the hell it is kind of alive. I forget if you end up actually fighting any Graven Eyes in this one, but the entire place is living. So like when you see all those pulsating blobs on the ground, you're more or less popping the Earth's pimples in order to collect loot. Actually, wait, I just noticed I forgot something important up there because there's a seemingly unimportant piece of fabric over here on the ground. We will need this later, believe it or not. Anyway, so overall mechanics. What are we looking at here? What is this torch? Why does it matter? Torch do very little damage. It does one to begin with. It's basically the worst weapon in the game, but it also, let's say, can light the ground on fire and serves as a source of fire for all things. On its own, this is not terribly impressive. This thing is absolutely tremendously awful as a weapon, and that is by design. Because, again, it's just meant to be a thing you carry in your hand as a light source. However, as we go and experiment around through our different classes, we will acquire new things and new abilities and whatever else. So we'll get into more on that as we go. But for the time being, I will say that there will be a couple of cases where I will be allowing things that are sort of flame adjacent. For example, when it comes to our mount, one of the things that they can actually learn to do, if we go over to their passives here, is, or not their passives, but their skills over here, or their points, is that they can learn a skill called Clever, which allows them to use Knight and Mystic classes. So this is the Mystic, and it's somebody that allows them to learn Fireball. And so in the case of the Dragon, or the Wyvern rather, I might just call him a Dragon for convenience, since they can't equip a Lantern and they are a permanent party member, I'm going to say that they can shoot a Fireball on the ground to lay a Fireball trap. They just can't directly attack something with a Fireball, okay? Makes sense? I hope so. So they can light a fire, they just can't necessarily use the fireball. Additionally, let's talk about the level up system in this game, because as I mentioned, it's levelless. So as soon as somebody gets experience, every however many points, I don't know how many it is, they get these little kind of asterisk points that they can spend on things. So for example, making their MP go up or augmenting their ability with certain things. Our primary source of increasing damage over the course of this entire thing is going to be Blaze Adept. This means that anything that is fire related will do 1 extra damage. There will be some other ones that potentially might help, but that's going to help us out there. I don't know if anything that they do counts as soil based. I doubt it. But additionally, one of the things that we're actually going to need in order to even make any progress here is going to be the Chisel class, which we'll get in a bit of a moment. First things first, though, we are going to drop everybody's weapons over on the floor. Could technically do this with mouse and keyboard, but I also will not be doing this with mouse and keyboard because I prefer doing this with buttons. I don't know, I just find it immersive. So everyone starts off with some pretty basic gear here. Maybe we'll just drop that sucker here. Maybe I will mouse and keyboard that one. Fine. Okay, so, context that we missed. There's a crapload of soldiers that's guarding the main area that we need to go to, and in order to disperse those soldiers, we need to get rid of the wisps commanding them, which means that we need to explore around and deal with said wisps. So, Ramir here, this is this sort of like fox person, here the Scurio, so strange fuzz-covered creature that hails from the realm of Errol. Though soft and weak compared to the die-cast hard stone, they make up for it with increased agility and resistance to the cold. And we technically didn't read the description of the die-cast, which was the dominant humanoid species in Graven. Shortly after birth, their body melds with minerals. Die-casts are separated into social castes based on their composite materials, the lowest caste being common Graven rock or junkstone, the highest caste meld with corpus. chest, treasure, lifestone that grants diecast great strength and durability, and that stuff is basically natural stainless steel. Anyway, so this is currently kind of our home base, our Firelink Shrine, as it were, and that's where the quick start option starts us. Again, it starts us off with a lantern, and it skips 2 mandatory battles in which we would not have a lantern available. So it's kind of the only way to start a run like this. Should we start by shooing these beasts away? Absolutely freaking not. As it stands right now, if we mouse over to them, we can see they have 13 health, and most we can do like 2. So that ain't happening. So we need to first get the party equipped. In order to get the party equipped, we need to actually get a chain pull for Ramir. So they are currently the closest to being able to unlock what's known as the Chisel, which is the first of the classes that we'll be getting. So we're going to go ahead and scout out the area. We don't really need their advice right now because none of it's really going to apply. But as Zavgard is saying over here, current mission is to kill 4 of those larger wisps. There's more available, but the more you take out, the easier the sort of initial boss fight type situation is. So we picked up a lockpick earlier. I picked one up from Byron. The reason that we did this is because the lockpicks function just like small keys do in the early Resident Evils. Namely that they'll be a one-time use key to get into certain areas. You only have a limited amount of them, and we won't be able to reuse them at any time. So there's a few that we want to use. Do I really want to use the... No, I don't want to use it on this one. We're going to go ahead and use it on one of the other ones up here. As I mentioned before, this entire area is essentially alive. Also, I just noticed I left your rusty sword over here. We don't need that anyway. Rusty weapons are pretty trash, but anyway. So we need to get access to a chain pull. So in order to get access to said chain pull, we need to have access to the chisel, which we'll do by going over that way in just a bit of a second. These are going to be the typical guards that we'll see all over the place. They're kind of all over. 16 health is manageable. We can deal with that, just not yet. We need to have a full party equipped first. So the point of this particular episode will be to show off some basic mechanics here, basic kind of puzzle solving in this place, as well as getting everybody equipped with usable lanterns. So we'll go ahead and get that dropped over there. I'll go ahead and get this one dropped over this way, and that'll make a little bit of a path, which will then allow us to get access to this poppable pimple of the earth, more or less, which gives us one of these essence stones. So we'll go ahead and give our healing items to Mr. Zavgard over here, and then we'll go ahead and use these stones. So one of the things that the quick start option gives us is that we can use 1 essence gem here to raise the skills of the entire party, which then unlocks the chisel. Now, the chisel is going to be Ramir's class. All of this stuff is meant to simulate you going through those first couple of battles. But the chisel is kind of the sort of scout class of the bunch. They've got a lot of kind of practical overworld abilities, but more importantly, they have the chain pull, which means that if, let's say, we go over to our dude over here, and we use this over on Ramir, now we have access to that chain pull. So what this does is that it allows us to interact with the world in new ways. So, wait, I just completely skipped over it, didn't I? Nope, I was just a complete idiot and spent the experience on the wrong class. Cool. Anyway, so we have not unlocked the chain pull. It's fine. There's other ways. So, actually, wait a minute. We might be able to do this with our mount. How much is your drag? 500? Yeah, we're not even close. Okay, new plan. We're going to go ahead and go this way. Yeah, kind of screwed that up entirely. So, we are going to have to go above then. So we're going to go ahead and use this lockpick on this door. That'll get us in here. That'll get us some equipment that we can sell. So I'll put that over there. We'll go ahead and get some money out of this chest, money out of over here, nothing in this thing. And just go ahead and just break this pot in the way. Which then allows us to take this tattered cloak, because for some reason I decided to go slide it on top of it, and this also gets us a little bit of armor. We'll give that to our main character at the moment, and then throw this leftover armor onto somebody else. So, somebody died in this house. Bit of a bummer for them, but does give us some free goodies. Then from there, we'll go into here and pick up our first lantern. Let's go ahead and get our existing lantern. And we'll go ahead and light this one up, and now we can go ahead and give this to whoever wants it. So we'll give this to Ramir, who then can go and swing it at stuff now. Additionally, we can put this book over here, and we can take this lockpick and put it in our inventory. So that gives us a few different options, but for now we're just going to go ahead and light this one up. And additionally, let's see, nothing in that one. But we can potentially see about finding a lockpick here. Do you have one? No, but you do have an essence stone. We're going to need one. I just can't really afford it at the moment. Anyway, the main reason that we need the chain pull is actually to get into an area over there. But unfortunately, we won't be able to do so at the time being. Kind of for the time being here. Now, out of curiosity, can you jump this? Do you have a higher jump skill? No. Interesting. Well, that's not going to help us out very much then, because yeah, the chain pull also can get us into here, which skips us a little bit of progress that way, but that's fine. That's fine. There's ways. There's still ways to get over there. So first and foremost, let's go ahead and get this Ulsak. This is a revival item that might be necessary to make some fights happen later. And additionally, we'll then be going north in order to pick up another stone that's up in that direction. Additionally, we'll be running into the mines over there on the side in order to pick up some goodies from there too, including the last 3 lanterns that we need, but we'll get there in a bit. So this will open up this direction a bit more so that we can kind of avoid running into that building, or running around that building rather. Let's see, there should be some goodies in here as well as one more openable house to the south. Here, one more cloak for you, so this gives a little bit of evasion. It's very, very minor, and talking to these characters gives you a little bit of extra lore, but for the time being, we're just exploring. I don't want to go towards the center of town there, because there is a ambush waiting for us, so we don't want to go there. Now, there's a lot of little interactables all over the world that we won't be able to do anything with yet, but we will down the line. So like, for example, some of these type doors usually require a switch to open, so we can't do anything with that yet. But what we can do is potentially pick up another stone over there. So one of the stones that we need is over behind that rock over here. So we need to be able to move this. So we'll end up getting back what we end up spending on that. And we'll be picking up that rock in order to make a better medicine. So you can make a few different things with sort of like just mashing certain things together. So like Ulsak combined together with a bandage creates a poultice, and this allows you to just completely heal somebody for about 6, which is about a 50% heal at this point. The numbers remain fairly low throughout most of the game, but there's a lot of perks that allow you to scale them up, which allows for some interesting interactions. Anyway, now that we're in the Tower District, we can go ahead and get this lockpick, pop that on this door, which should give us some more pieces of equipment, more stuff to sell, including actually a shield that we can pop on our main character here. Give us a little bit more goodies. Actually, that was Ramir that I put it on, wasn't it? No, we did put it on Pyroclasmo. Okay. So that gives us some more goodies. We get some more weapons that we can sell for pocket change. We can go ahead and get a book over here. We can read through all of these for lore and whatnot. Let's see, this thing gives us better magic while blind, and also, more importantly, gives us a bit more money that we can use to potentially buy another essence stone, get an ore band to improve our health a little bit more. We can make more of those later. And then finally, a fine cloak over here. Unfortunately, they're already wearing a cloak, so we'll just put that on them. Yeah, there's one thing that you could do in Horizon's Gate that you can't do in this one, which is stacking multiple cloaks on somebody to give them crazy evasion. Anyway, we'll, again, just sort of pick up all of these different bits and pieces just to have it on hand. Additionally, we'll go ahead and research all of these just to get some idea in case we need it for something. Prisoner logs, we'll just go over kind of what the prisoners have been up to, and against elementalism, gives you how elements work in general. Anyway, go ahead and get this place opened up, collect a little bit of money, collect one more cloak, and that should be all the cloaks that we need, unless we get some better quality ones. Yeah, this place is a little bit grim, as you can probably tell. Stuff has not been going terribly well around Graven. So there's that. It does get explained a bit later, but for the time being, yeah, stuff's not looking too great for these guys. The Gumby people have been seeing some dark times. Alright, so, next thing that we want to do here is do a little bit of puzzle solving. So, I need the chain pull. And I still can't believe I screwed up that chain pull setup so bad, because it is kind of perfectly set up that you just need that one thing in order to get access to it, which makes this the start a lot easier to do, but hey, it is what it is. Alright, let's get more bandage making materials, pop that sucker over there. Trying to find that one guy to see how quickly it takes for them to complain about their house. So, you have a wyvern. I tried to escape on wyvern back before, but there's nowhere to ride on the vast plain. They found me in no time. Well, they're going to find you even easier now. Here, I'll wait. Right. Kind of equipping the wrong thing. There we go. Is he pissed yet? Why did you burn it? Because. Why'd you make your house out of grass? We're assholes. Anyway. So yeah, that'll spread, that'll end up burning throughout the entire place, but the reason that you actually burn it is to get access to the goodies behind his house. You know, that's what... He shouldn't put slight upgrades to our healing items behind his house. What was he thinking? Alright, but this also allows us access to this puzzle over here, which then allows us access to a few other places, including potentially the ability to get a little bit more of those experience stones, as it were. So, your exploration is tied to your experience in more ways than one. When you go around, you can get those essence stones, but additionally, you run into new fights that you can potentially handle. Now, there's very few fights that we can currently handle. So, with that said, yeah, we'll just sort of deal with that as we do. I mentioned before, I think, that yeah, we can use things like stones to potentially break into an area, but not to do damage. So, like those Ulsacs that we were combining with bandages, we can use those for... Well, we can't use them as a weapon. We can use them as healing. Anyway, because yeah, they are a very good projectile weapon, but we won't be using them for that. So, let's travel over this direction at this point, and one of these areas off to the side should have a bit more experience over here. Let's see, we won't be going there. You can use some more leveled up spells to be able to do some shenanigans here. Like if, for example, you use your air burst and you have your air burst leveled up, you drop that sucker over here, you just like kind of plow this rock this way, plow it here, now you have a landing tile to go walk on. But we don't have access to that yet. As I mentioned before, raising your skills, improving your skills, expanding your skills will all end up giving you different sort of opportunities to do different things with your different pieces of equipment. For the time being, though, this will just allow us to move this over here. We should move this one tile this way. Do our little golden sun puzzle kind of experience, as it were. Go ahead and hop you over here. And then move this thing this way to get us access to this other area as we do. There we go. Pop you over here, see what's in here, and that's an essence stone. Perfect. Alright, now that we remembered to actually change what class they are, Ramir, how would you like to be a better chisel? Alright, so we get to Ramir, and now we can use their chain pull. Fantastic, we've unlocked so many new areas. Let's go ahead and do that, and not make that mistake again. Alright, also pick up some throwing rocks in case we need to break any more things in our way. And in this case, we can just go ahead and do this puzzle in its intended manner. Also kind of screwed it up, but we can use our chain pull to go and fix it. There we go. Pull you this way, pop this sucker in here, pop you in here. And there we are. I love the physicality of all this stuff. It just feels so nice and cozy. Alright, and then this will get us to this zone over here, which actually kind of bypasses our need to go to the other place anyway. Alright, let's break through this. We get some Corprist. We can use some Corprist for plot reasons later to make a baby. Also, let's see, gives plus 5 strength when exactly at 1 HP. Now, this sounds like it would be incredibly useful. Unfortunately, again, strength bonuses don't actually help us out. So, whoops on that particular one. Anyway... now that we've shortcutted back to here, we can go ahead and do that. We can push this stone over to smother that fire, and then pick up that other essence stone that we don't necessarily need just yet. I'm going to save these for those moments that we really, really need to do something with them. So we're going to go ahead and pop this, let's say up here, I think. We'll just put our non-renewable resources, as it were. Okay. So we've got access to this whole zone at this point, so we don't need the chain pull to access it anymore, but we can use it to make a little bit more space as we could. Like, probably can throw this chain over here, get this one a bit more open up that. Looking good, looking good. Okay. So, burn this, gives us another one of them ool sacks, but we don't have any bandages to currently bandage with that whole thing. We will deal with that as we progress. So, we just need to pick up some shears. We'll find one of those in the house later. But this is going to be our first blacksmith. For the time being, there's not too much that we can do here. We're going to break down some equipment. We are going to upgrade some armor. But this blacksmith shop is going to be your primary blacksmith shop for about the first half of the game, give or take, allowing you to modify your equipment as you see fit. And modifying your equipment is very easy. For example, we have armor over here on this dude. We go over here, we pop the armor on here. It's got 2 slots. We take one of those things, we pop it in there, and now that armor has +2 dodge. Fantastic. Additionally, this if we have any materials, which will, or any crafting books, which we'll get in just a moment, we can turn materials into other things. But we can similarly, let's say, go over here. And let's say we have a ore sword, we pop it into the furnace, it just comes out as regular ore, we take the spear, pop it in here, regular ore, and you can just convert your equipment into a more pocketable form by doing it this way. The metals and the weapons are worth the same thing, seeing as it's really the metal that's important in this particular instance. So if you needed to, let's say, sell a bunch of ore or make a bunch of stuff out of ore, like let's say armor or whatnot, that'd be the way to do it. Anyway, from here we'll be burning this, and this is one of those reasons that I was very interested in doing this with a lantern in particular, because a lot of areas are accessible primarily with fire. There are certainly other ways to do things. You can electrify that whole place to get it to explode. You can just cut through some of them, but I find this one particularly interesting. Man, the coffee's gone cold while I've been chattering about, but it's still pretty tasty. Anyway, let's get some throwing rocks, and this will be our first crafting book in here, which will give us a spear crafting kit. And all of this stuff, as you'd probably expect, works very similarly when it comes to crafting. So, for example, we wanted to make an iron spear. We would take this crafting book, we would pop it in here, we would then combine it with this ore, and bing bang boom, we got a spear. We can then combine that spear with the thing over here, and then there we go, it's made back into ore. It's very convenient. So we'll leave our crafting book, we'll leave our ore in this place, because all of your equipment is permanently wherever you leave it. Stuff does not despawn, which is very cozy. So we'll need to search under just about everything in order to get to everything that we need, and there's oftentimes going to be different puzzle solutions. Like, for example, we didn't technically need to burn our way into this place. We could have also just pushed that rock aside in order to get back here as well. So there's always going to be additional solutions. I personally find that fire and the chain pull gets you most of what you want for the early game, and remains pretty useful throughout. So next we need to get the rest of our team armed, so we go into the mines, because the mines are going to need, you know, some lighting sources. So, we go ahead and set this on fire. Sorry. And we give Zefgard his first weapon, and then we'll give our other dude his first weapon, which means that we only need one more. Additionally, fire interacts with some things, like, for example, we can explode huge areas if they happen to be covered in oil. Thankfully, nobody gets knocked unconscious by that one. If anyone gets downed, they don't permanently die. However, their health and max MP are permanently reduced until you can get back to base and rest. So you're constantly going back to base and resting when you're going and exploring. And the beginning of the game is on some kind of countdown. Truth be told, I've never waited for it to go all the way down, but I believe you can rest like 7 times before something happens. Honestly, I don't know what that something is. Maybe some plot events change. I don't know. You can actually interfere with plot events in multiple different situations, so either way, we'll see how that goes. So, this passage to the north, I got a very bad feeling about it. Well, we'll have to go down there at some point. Don't go down that path. Everything on it makes my fur stand on end. That basically means that they don't understand how hair works, I think. Honestly, I don't know. I think they've got, like, crystals sticking out of their head. I haven't seen any concept art for the diecast. I think those are supposed to be crystals sticking out of their head. Anyway. But our last lantern is actually going to be over here. And then, yeah, we can probably go back and try to fight the first enemy that we ran into at that point. There's actually a couple of fights that we'd be able to potentially go deal with at this point, now that we have a single damage. Potentially we'll be setting up a bunch of traps and stuff like that. In those earlier attempts, one of those reasons that I was kind of unhappy about it is because I was using blood spikes as a kind of deterrent, and that's the thing. when it comes to other sources of damage or anything that kind of affects the world, if it doesn't do damage directly, I'm considering it fine. In some cases, I'm also considering it fine, like, using a chain pull to go pull a statue on top of somebody, because how often is somebody going to be sitting under a statue? But, like, when it comes to, let's say shoving somebody in a lake, clearly that's water and that kind of thing. So either way, we'll deal with that as we go on. Now, let's see. Anything in here that we particularly want? Because I really want this shield. Thing is, those essence stones are going to be extremely valuable, and that's probably going to be the main thing that we want to go for. We'll see. We'll see. Anyways, let's go ahead and continue on this way then. Because I'm thinking the first thing that I want to go pick up is some shears. So we can get those kind of south of our tower, and then after that we can probably start considering doing some fights and things. So the two fights that we can potentially do at this point are going to be either this one guy off by himself, or we've got the... there's a bit of an ambush up north where you can very kind of comfortably funnel multiple units at once, and additionally can actually use a throwing stone to trigger a lantern falling on somebody, which is technically still a type of torch, so I'll count it. Anyway, let's pop you in here. I don't think... Does this actually break those? No. I mean, for the sake of breaking a pot in your way, because you can very quickly, like, you can just do this. It's just more convenient in some cases. Like, I'm going to say breaking a pot is fine. Let's put this over here. Let's see, get some money. You can also just do that to get your equipment a little bit easier. And then one more lantern if we so need it. Here, let's swap you over to your lantern, hit this thing. Down the line, it will be possible to dual-wield lanterns, so that's going to exponentially increase our damage once we get there. But for the time being, there's very little that we can do to improve them. But that's fine. That's fine. Let's go pick up some rocks. And who currently does not have rocks? Zevgard, you do not have rocks. The words are hard. Let's go ahead and read about wisps real quick. So, wisps, an intelligent sorceress creature of tendril and sinew. Wisps often inhabit the dead, using their tendrils and magic to puppet their victim. Wisps cannot occupy smaller creatures such as diecast, instead using spontaneously created extensions of themselves known as nodes. Doing so is draining for the wisp, and they can only create a limited number of these nodes. And the nodes are mostly where you're fighting through most of this. So, anyway, let's go ahead and pop this here, and then lastly, this area down at the very bottom is going to be pretty useful for us. I did miss that one item up there, which hopefully isn't too terribly important. Most of it is going to be pretty basic stuff at this point. But here, let's go ahead and pick up these wool sacks, combine them with one of these bandages, and then pop this sucker over here. Now we've got our better healing items, and away we go. So it's these places that are going to have a decent bit of healing in them. And again, I know it seems like a very, very long-winded setup. It's not going to be like this the entire run, but there is a ton of stuff that you can kind of explore around and sort of collect in the early game in order to get yourself set up for later. Because when it comes to healing items, there's very, very literally a limited number of them in the game. So I want to be able to pick some stuff up. Alright, okay, this is actually a pretty solid example of one of those cool torch-based mechanics. What we're going to do is actually, we're going to chain pull this thing, and you can actually use that to go throw a torch into something. As you can probably expect, that's pretty useful for us here. We can then go and set this back up, but we can also booby-trap the place before the fight starts. So like this guy off by his own is probably going to be pretty good for us. So we'll go ahead and save the game right there. Did I ever change the difficulty, or is it still on Ruin? Okay, it's still on Ruin. What the hell is standard? Vanguard or Titan? Whatever, Titan's fine. And it sounds cooler. So let's see. This thing currently has 8 health. Okay, that's very doable. So what we're going to do is we're going to attempt to ambush him with a rope pull. So we want to pull him away from the rest of his squad here. Oh, well, they saw us. Okay. So instead we're going to go ahead and move backwards. We're going to try to set some fires and try to get them to run into said fires. Might be a little bit ill-prepared for this, but whatever. We'll make it work. So, first things first, set some fire. There we go. You also step forward and set some fire. Those guys are probably going to be coming from the north, but as long as we have a wall of fire for them to run into, we should probably be fine. Essentially, we need them to run into the fire once, and then the rest can sort of gang up on them and beat them with their lanterns. Alright, what you gonna do? Gonna stay away? Okay, there's 4 of them up there. I think that thing can be made to explode, if I recall correctly. So we'll deal with that as we do. There we go, you just keep burning that one. You burn that tile over there. Just a big old circle of fire is currently the plan. Alright, you stay back there, because there's nothing for you to help with at the moment. There we go. Got our protection circle. Oh, man. I need to remember to actually take a picture of this whole thing. There we go. Alright, let's continue, because the screenshot thing just took over the screen. Now go back, go back, go back. Okay. Let's see, Ramir, just keep lighting the fire in front of you. All 3 of them are coming. That is a problem. I think we'll probably have to retreat to the left, possibly go through that doorway. But let's see if we can get them to run into this first. You're going to go check that doorway, make sure that we can open it first. Otherwise, everybody else can just make this circle of fire and make them run into it. At the very least, it's an advantage. 7 health is still doable. The party can easily out-tank these guys for the time being, so this should allow for a good opening. Alright, you light this one. You go and get through there. Alright, you relight this fire. They disappear 2 turns from the time that they were lit, so they don't exactly last a very long time, and they don't exactly do a lot of damage, so you know, we'll just kind of deal with this as best we can. So they'll take that hit, perfect, and they hit for 5. Jeez. Okay. Or ready, which will... You can also kind of do like a sort of Overwatch kind of thing. So the ready skill will allow you to attack something as soon as it gets within range. So technically you can start off with a 4 before the thing even gets started. So like you set up 2 readies, a fire tile in between. They're all going to tag team and hit them with the fire there. So that's useful stuff, but we'll get to that when we get there. Actually, that's probably how I did 4 with a fire tile that one time, now that I think about it. No, they did 6 that time. Why? Why do they sometimes take a lot more? I don't know. It's weird. Sometimes they just take a lot more. Maybe it's because flammable blood or something? Like if there's blood on the ground, maybe it burns more? I don't know. There are interactions between fire, blood, and whatever else, so... Maybe. Maybe. I have no idea. Either way, these guys still do a pretty decent whack of damage, even as they are, so... It's fine. And also, I love how these complete throwaway enemies are still potentially a giant threat, and we might still see a few losses to this. Yeah, thankfully Ramir dodged that. Trying to think how we can potentially get you out of there. See, if we can get Ramir out... Alright. Just attack, and then can you safely leave by any measure? Because I want them out of the fire circle. Like, they're gonna get taken out, but at least they're out of the circle, which means that we can potentially do more stuff with it. Accidentally skip a turn, you go over there, because you're not allowed to do anything yet. You take over making the fire circle. Actually, a 4-unit fire circle. This seems to be a very workable strategy. Alright, so they're going to take a permanent loss to their health up for a little bit. Zavgard's going to take a hit. He's one of our tankiest so far. There you go. Just hit him with that. Go this way, you light a fire over here, and then hop over this direction. That might bait them in. Alright, burn that. You know, this is interesting. I like this sort of a fire setup pattern thing. Alright, 2 of the fires disappeared. What are you doing? Going that way? Fine. Fine. They're not looking very good, though. Yeah. Right. So, how do we adjust for this? Probably just burn and start working our way towards the house here, hoping that we can set the ground under them on fire. Alright. Yeah, hop over the fire and run. No, not there. You go here. Burn this. Then possibly reach over one of them and use the chain pull to ram them with that torch. There we go. We no longer have our person that can do that, actually. But what we do have is some junkstone that can be used to trigger it. So, burn them with that. Get a few more tiles on fire and go this way. This is such a scuffed way of doing things, but I don't know. I find it a lot of fun. There we go. Burn that. 3 of them left. They're all damaged. I think this is technically possible, especially with a dodge right there. Alright, burn that. And continue holding. I think the 2 of them can probably hold this particular section like this. If this one had a shield, that might do a little better. Maybe we'll just do something like this, and he can set up some burn tiles underneath. Probably... Oh, why does he do... Oh, wait a minute. No. I was going to say, why does he do 7? Maybe it's possibly because of that whole being reduced stats thing, but that guy's already down. He's not the reduced stats guy. I don't know. I have no clue. Alright. They certainly take a decent bit of punishment, don't they? So, interesting thing, doors don't burn. So what we're going to do, that one would expire. You're going to go right here. But what we're actually going to do is set up 1 tile inside, and then set up a burn in there. So hopefully they run in, they catch fire, and then hopefully eventually we pick up the ready skill. So for the time being, it's going to run out. So what we're going to do is take this poultice over here, heal up. Probably should leave healing to the dinosaur, considering they can't do anything else right now. It's going to be a long time until they can actually do anything else. But what we can do is set a fire right here. So just approach at your leisure, please. Come and get roasted at your leisure. And hopefully we can get something done with that. Alright. They expired. You know what? Horizon's Gate has messed me up because, like, I forgot about the countdown timer. So they do expire after a certain amount of time, which means that enemy units can use those tiles again. That was one thing that you could really abuse heavily in Horizon's Gate. So let's see how long it takes for them to hop into this fire. Actually, I wonder if Fireball plus... Let's see. Come on. Keep burning that tile. You know you want in here. Look, it's such a tempting fire. You know you want in here. Like, eventually they'll make the mistake. That's the thing. Eventually it'll happen. But, just waiting. Come on. You know you want to do it. You know you want to do it. Alright. We'll wait 1 turn for it to expire. We'll step outside, step in the doorway, and then do it. Because that should probably give them enough confidence to go for it. And/or just heal tank using the healing items we got. Heal tanking is no longer an option because this thing hits too hard. Okay. Alright. No, wait. It is option. It is an option. You go here. You body block. And then he's going to heal. So we're just going to have the dinosaur tank. Alright. Right. Fantastic. So, that went well. Let's see. First one that's going to act... Shoot, this is a problem. Alright. Go backwards. Set fire. And hopefully we get one of the weaker ones. Shoot. Dodge. Well, anyway, that's embarrassing. So yeah, some of the most pathetic stuff in the game just absolutely trounces us at this point. But either way, it's doable. There is technically a way to make this happen. So the options are there. Just gotta explore a little bit more. We'll get our shears from this whole situation. Let's see. Also pick up some more equipment, because we're out here. Pick some more of this stuff. We'll probably pick that essence stone at some point. This probably would be a far safer way to do this whole thing. Because there's already spikes on the ground. We can just kind of double layer our burns here. Yeah, I think this is the way we want to do it. So, you get 1 tile closer. Just wait for them to do it. Come on, get close. You know you want to. You know you want to. Come on. Come on. You know you want to. Come on. Be a good little blob thing. Ah, dang it. Got to us first. This is why you want to have your upgraded chain pull as soon as possible, because you can just sort of pull stuff into a fight. Alright, first people acting are going to be, looks like Ramirez of Guard. There we go. You go this way. Everybody else burns from the other direction. Alright. Sounds good to me. Set fire. Set fire. There we are. You go here, set fire here. And everybody else just kind of sits and stays put for the time being. That one is way the hell over there and should take a little bit of a while to get here. Possibly posting up inside of a house might be a little safer, but I don't know. Last time the entire team died, we managed to take out exactly one of them. Also, did I remember to set the difficulty down this time? Oh, well, no, that would probably do it, huh? Can't... Oh, that's why it didn't do it. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. Alright, how much health is... Yeah, these guys are supposed to have... Yeah, there we go. I hit cancel. That makes so much more sense. Alright, come on, come on. Get over here with you're supposed to have way less health and not doing frickin' 7 with every hit. That makes so much more sense now. Alright. So it looks like we're already retreating. Good to know. Yeah, this is so much more reasonable. So yeah, ruin mode, I would think, is pretty much entirely impossible. There's maybe some extraordinarily sweaty bullshit that we might be able to pull, but it seems so unlikely. Also, just so you know, the reason that I'm burning that bottom tile is just to convince the AI that there's no better route in here. So, yeah. As long as they're not convinced that there's a better way, they won't try to find one. So there we go. You go ahead and whackify one of these. Let's see, this one's 2 burns away. Put this one down into 3 burn territory. There we are. Pyroclasma can now move over here and improve our DPS dramatically by moving in that direction. You keep relighting this fire, and I still have no clue why sometimes the fire gets vastly improved. Maybe it's because multiple fires are technically set on the same like recovery time tick or something, but somehow there's a way to improve it. So there's that. We're gonna add the ready skill to this whole thing as soon as possible. Like, I want ready from the night tree. I want, but I specifically want Blaze Adept on everybody as soon as possible. So let's see. Yeah, technically it does damage, so we can't do that. Burn that. You run this way, see about opening some doors or something. You step this way and set this on fire. And now we should be a lot safer. Now they should just come in, burn, and then we can beat them to death with torches. And, yeah, ruin mode is extraordinarily ruined. That ain't gonna happen. You stay where you are. We'll need you in a moment. You also... Now, you know what? You actually move over here and relight this fire, because we'll be needing it soon. Here. You probably just whack this one. And probably hold still. You kind of go in this direction for the time being. You finish that one off. And hopefully we can get them in a bit of a line here. There we go. And now we have our firewall fully set up again. Sounds good. Sounds good. This is definitely the kind of thing that I was envisioning when starting this run. So feels good. Feels good. All right. You light this fire. Move backwards a little bit. Top guy will go down and set a fire where he's currently standing. Toasty, good job. There we are. That one burns. Then we beat them with lanterns. Man, that one dude, the Human Torch over there, is kind of an absolute liability. Whoops. Anyway, yeah, we'll go ahead and ready up to attack this tile. Yeah, you go that way. You whack this one. We're going to set a tile, set a fire where he's standing right now. We're going to attempt to set an Overwatch trap over here with this fire. Please go in and get roasted. There we go. That brings it up to 3. There's tech here. There's tech. Not much. Not much. There's not too many things that affect torches, but there's some. And that's more than none. Also probably helps if I don't set my own people on fire. But details, you know? Okay. now we can reset our firewall yet again. We'll have our buddy expiring relatively soon, which will be a problem, but we'll get to that as we get to it. Open up that door in case we need to use it. Catches fire. Beautiful. Yeah, we'll need more armor on everybody to kind of figure out our whole torch situation here. Next, we'll chain pull you so that you can set a fire instead of taking a swing. And alright. Hopefully you get the general idea of the kinds of strategies that we're going for, because yeah, that guy's body is about to expire on the ground, which means that we're going to have a gap that's open, and we need to exploit that. So, there we go. Now you can go this way, set a fire over here. Everything will run into our fires. It's a beautiful little firewall over here. Alright. Come on, roasty toasty. I think they're running away because they just see its immediate death upon running into those fires. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go over here and once again convince the AI that there's no better way by burning the other tiles with Zevgard. So as soon as we do, then they should see that there is fire exactly everywhere, and hopefully they don't start trying to run across the bottom of the map, because they very well might. Again, with the hopefully not. There we go. Where are they going to go? Screw it. At this point, we might as well just run forward. They've got 2 health. We're fine. I'm being a little bit too cautious here. Now that the difficulty is set to something that is actually meant to be completable. Alright. Because, yeah, people have warned me, like, as far as Horizons Gate went, like, yeah, just Ruin Mode will just, will be brutal even in absolutely optimal conditions. I'm like, man, that sounds amazing, actually, thank you. That sounds like exactly what I want to sign up for. Okay, you go there. What you gonna do? Jump over the fire, apparently. Alright, what are you gonna do? You are gonna... Alright, fine. Whatever. It's okay. I'm not mad. I'm just kind of mildly upset, but, you know, not mad. It's fine. It's fine. Alright, they're gonna go eat fire truck. Now, let's see. What is this thing's deal again? Also... search key? Can I help you? Oh, that's what's going on. Okay, I'm sorry. I've got my search key bound to 2 different buttons at one time. I believe this thing will explode if we throw a rock at it. So we're just gonna do that later. Also, if we hit it with a lantern, but hopefully that's not the thing that we necessarily want to be doing right now. Alright, this thing should hop over those spikes. There we go. Now, if we, let's say, go over here, and then we chain pull this dude close to it, and let's say we go over here and throw a rock at this thing. Yay! Fun. Okay, so that's some experience. Everybody has a little bit of experience now. And we should be able to pick up some shears here. Junkstone clubs don't sell for anything, so we're not picking up those things. That's what those purple things that look like exactly what you're about to call them are. Also, light up every torch, because dang it, we are here to go spread some light, I suppose. Am I completely forgetting where there were some shears laying around? Probably. Yeah, shears are literally just scissors. There's nothing too fancy about them, but you use them to chop up some cloth to make into bandages, which then you can use to put clay into those bandages in order to make, you know, claymation people bandages. Why exactly does that work for Ramir, despite being like a fox thing? Don't question it. It's cool, just go with it. It's a cool world-building thing. Also, there are some rocks over here, which we can go ahead and give to you so that everybody has a few throwing rocks. Because every rock deserves a chance to fly, apparently. Alright, and another throwing rock that we can go ahead and put over here. So there we go. Anyways, so that will be about that, I think, for the start of this whole thing. Everybody's all, for the most part, equipped. Let's go ahead and see where we are points-wise. So as far as skills go, we can get the ready skill available on Zevgard, which will allow for doing some goodies. This is one of the ways that we might potentially increase our damage here, because you do get additional bonus damage every time you're attacking with ready, and you can overrank this using equipment, so it might be possible to multiply damage that way. Buy definitely won't help, I know that for a fact, or at least let's double check. Oh my god, Bite actually does triple our damage. Okay, good to know. Maybe, maybe I should stop being a dumbass. Anyway, let's go ahead and learn Bide to set up even more traps. Anyway, we'll also pick up Counter as kind of our next sort of port of call here, as it were. But, let's see, deal 1+ fire per adjacent flame. I mean, that sounds like something that should help quite a decent bit. So, you're going to pick up Draw Power as soon as you can. You don't even have a single point for this yet. Unfortunately, these points are a little bit hard to come by as you go on here. Does anybody have any of these yet? Let's see. Ramir has 1 point that they could put into Endurance. I mean, they might as well. They really haven't done much else for that. Okay. But yeah, we've gotten exactly 1 stat point over the course of this whole thing. So not really too much that we can do with that. Oh, here's the scissors. Okay, good. So now we can take the scissors. Chop those up in order to make bandages. We take those bandages, we put them over here, combine them with this, and now we have these things, and then we put it over here, except the bandages are up here. We take these things, we shove them into the bandages, put those over here, not in your armor slot, though it is hilarious that you can stick bandages in your armor slot. Alright. Take more of this, put it over here, take this and put it over here, and there we go. That's looking at least decent. So, alright, let's go ahead and talk about plans for the future here. In fact, actually, let's probably not remember to pick up that lockpick from before. There was a lockpick that I missed up north. We'll get to that when we get to it. I believe this is... oh, that's just a rusty crossbow. Completely worthless. Good to know. And an ambush over... Oh, dear God, we do now. Well, actually... I mean, that's doable. For what it's worth, it's at least doable at this point. But yeah, not necessarily something that we want to put a whole lot of stock into for the time being. This is an area that we'll want to explore later, but can't quite get through just yet. And let's go ahead and talk about kind of plans for the future here. So as we carry on, we'll want to be picking up a few things. For one thing, regeneration is going to be dang near mandatory for this one. Regeneration doesn't really regenerate you in the normal regeneration sense. Effectively, what it does is that it allows you to just gain more health every time you're healed. Now, this can be combined with let's say something like the Melder, which has the ability to put down a healing tile, and so this means that you can just constantly regenerate additional health. So it's very good for that purpose. But for Fire Truck in particular, in order to even get them the ability to attack anything, we need to give them the ability Clever, and that's going to be a little bit of a while from now. When it comes to everybody else, so I'm going to have Ramir just kind of focus on being our primary chain puller and specifically looking to spend points on getting this some additional range as soon as possible. Technically speaking, any skill that can be used should be able to also use what we're already doing. So I'm thinking being able to do stuff like Lacerate or Sunder or whatever else with this might work. I don't know. So we'll kind of work our way towards there as we go on. For the time being, though, just having access to something like Ready will be good enough in order to kind of build everybody up. Brave, for example, won't help at all because this does not actually increase our damage with our torch, or lantern, rather. Let's see. We also have these magical abilities over here, but again, our focus is going to be on picking up Draw Power, which should, in theory, cause additional damage to happen. We'll see. I don't know for sure, but we'll kind of get to that as we get to it. Let's see. It deals +1 fire, lightning, ice, and dark to nearby enemies. Actually, come to think of it, Roasty can actually use that stone in order to get this. So Roasty is which one? Purple hair? Okay. Yeah, use that on Roasty. So, let's... Wait, what? Wow. That is frustrating. They're one experience off. Okay, so... I suppose next time what we're going to do is... this is probably one of the next fights... No, we're going to... Okay, before we end this, while we talk about future plans... Need to go kill off this guy down here. This one dude that's wandering around. I'm thinking if we can at least test if that's going to do something, that might be something to think about as far as plans for the future go. So let's go ahead and save it so that we don't end up completely just kind of screwed here. Also, it looks like we've picked up a bit more money, which can, in theory, be used to go pick up another essence stone from the shop, which then allows for even more experience. Again, we're trying to get as much experience as we can while doing as few fights as possible, to try to get as much advantages as possible to actually be able to do said fights. Now, a 6v1 versus this guy, technically more of a 5v1, kind of, sort of, maybe kind of a little bit doable. I'm thinking with where their health is at the moment, it should be possible to just kind of try to beat them down, in theory. So we'll sort of see how that ends up going, because he should be able to do like 6 or so. We'll see. We'll body block with our dragon here. Probably get inside this door. Yeah, they can hit pretty hard. Yeah, I think we'll be able to get inside our door here. Let's see, ready will do... Yeah, ready won't necessarily help us out here. Not yet, anyway. But we should be able to set a little bit of a trap inside this door. We can set up more of a trap as we go in, as well as setting up more kind of like fire traps and stuff like that. But I think for the time being, we'll be fine. Let's go for that one. That's perfectly fine. I think a little bit less health for you. Okie dokie, had a little bit of a phone call, continued beating this guy with lanterns. So bite trapping is very effective. It ended up doing the probably majority of the damage versus this guy, and yeah, only needs one more point now. Definitely way more doable at this point, though we still ended up losing most of the team. But still, very doable. Also, we got the melder, we got the chisel. Oh, that's looking good. Okay. Tattered cloak. Do we need this for anybody? No. Put this in the sell pile. Doubt it'll give us much. Most stuff doesn't really sell for much. But, for one thing, draw power. So, let's see, +1 per adjacent flame, and +1 per adjacent blood pile. Okay. So, don't forget to equip your new passive. Thank you! Thank you, Sean! This is like one of those things that all of us run into at some point. Okay, so... My goodness. The power. The power. Well, hold on, because we need to set all those fires, and I need to stop double-tapping square. We can do additional numbers! We can scale up with yeah, I keep double-tapping it, but still... This this just kind of quadrupled our damage all of a sudden, so fantastic. And additionally, we got access to the Melder, which is amazing. Okay, also we started getting some points here. As far as Melder, do you have any experience you could spend yet? No, but growth is... Like, if we can get the money to go pick up growth right now, that'd be massive. Additionally, let's see, gouge would... Either gouge or lacerate. Like, bleed is good. It lasts for 2 turns. I would say gouge, so blind reduces accuracy by a lot. Actually, wait a minute, hold on. It just sets movement and attack ranges to 1. Okay, scratch that, not gouge. Either sunder or lacerate would both be good here. Are there any passives you need? Let's see, weapon attacks poison the primary target for 5. Question is, like, we'll probably pick that up. I don't know specifically. I would assume this works. But lacerate, I'm pretty certain works. It does! We can make fire bleed! Alright, perfect. Okay, so that's another step forward. Additionally, you still can't draw power, but we need to draw power on you at our earliest opportunity. We might be able to do that fight down there in a moment. But we need to go over to the shop and pick up that Essence Stone. Prices don't necessarily get better, so they just kind of are as they are. So, let's see. We got all our stuff over here. Scroll all the dang way down. Where's all the stuff? Get to our stuff. Just organize the stuff. There we go. Alright. So, this won't give us anything, so we'll sell that. Eye Pendant also similarly won't give us anything. Tattered Cloak is $1, but we'll take that. You get rid of this. Perfect. Book gives us something. Here's your prison logs back. And that gives us 90 as well as possibly some other goodies. So Essence Stone is going to give us 100 for one of them. So that basically means that our 2 weakest became the 2 strongest all of a sudden. Do we have anything they can sell for 5? Possibly, but maybe not. Do we sell another lantern? Because these things are everywhere. Lantern and 3 bandages? Sure, actually, that would do well for some armor. They're going to be a lot more value later, though. No, that extra health is worth more right now. Okay. We'll sell our spare lantern and all of that to pick up another shield. There will be basically free equipment later, but we're not focusing on that. You need to suddenly go over to Mr. Purple over here, who now has become the absolute god of damage, which is hilarious. Because they can do slightly more. They can do 2! Wait a minute. Whoa, wait, hold on. Why can they do 2 already? I'm so confused. This is weird. Does the fact that they have a lantern in their hand already improve fire damage? That's cool! I don't know if that's actually the thing, but damn, awesome. Okay, so let's see. What can we potentially do here? Who's close? Like, Toasty is the one that needs it. What's potentially something else that we might need here? Counter we can live without for this second. Venom we're not close enough for. I think it's time for you to switch over to Chisel at this point, because you've got the ones that I need from here. And he has not gotten a stat point, which primarily would just go towards Endurance. Maybe we just wait till a stat point. I actually, again, have no clue what can potentially go up from that. Or rather, how many experience it takes to get a point. I want to say it's like 500 or something. Anyway. So, let's see, Roasty finally got their first point. So we're going to say Toasty. Toasty's the one that really needs this. So, let's go over here, use this thing. Toasty, welcome to the Power Club. So you just got yourself some draw power, and additionally, you are going to be working towards Melder. In fact, you're going to primarily focus on being a Melder at this point. Let's see, the other one should also probably focus... Actually, no, we probably are good with... want 2 Milders or 1. Because the problem is they're both the healing and they're also the offense in this case. Either way, we'll figure out how to consolidate all this stuff later. This has gone on way longer than I thought it would, so either way, this is the pilot episode. Every one from here on out will probably be like 30 minutes long or something like that, but that is the exceptionally long setup to the lantern-only challenge, but you can... hopefully you get why I'm excited about this. Just everything combines together, and even something as lame as a lantern has all these different little interactions to find, which is just neat to me. Anyway, y'all take care. I gotta go.